Greeting, Internet friends. Welcome to another exciting episode of Dabbling with Dan. Today we're going to go ahead and remove the rear tire to my 2003 Ford Explorer that I purchased a couple of years at an auction to remove and replace the rear rotor and brakes. An inspection is due here pretty soon on this vehicle, and I just want to make sure that there's no hitches on the inspection. I'm going to go ahead and replace these, and I thought you guys might like to see how this is done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wedge in the front tire to keep the vehicle from moving whenever it's jacked up. So I already have it sitting up here. You might be able to see it on camera here. And then I'm just going to kind of wedge it up underneath. Now the PPE, personal protective equipment, I'm going to use on this job are impact resistant safety glasses. I also have a good pair of gloves as well as hearing protection, because a little bit later I'm going to be using a pneumatic air gun to take the lug nuts off. But right now it's time to go ahead and raise the vehicle up. I got a 3-ton jack. I don't want to lift it up too high off the ground, but a few pumps on this, it goes right up. Now, because I'm going to be working underneath the wheel well, I want a secondary safety device. I'm going to put a jack stand underneath the back axle in case the hydraulics fail on this jack. So this is a jack stand, and I'm just going to find a nice place to put this underneath here to give me some extra security. Okay, now step one is going to be here just to remove the hubcap. I'm going to keep it close by because when I take the lug nuts off, I'm just going to put them in the hubcap. Now I have a pneumatic gun that I got through a safety prize at work. It's been a great tool, but whenever you use it, they recommend that you put at least a drop of oil in it. And there we go. And hook up my air. Okay, in the back of the gun, you got a forward and reverse. I'm going to have it in reverse because there's a rhyme, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. So left on a clock will loosen, right will tighten. So let me go ahead and put my ear protection in. Take the lug nuts off. Oh, I'll have to get that one. Alright, now the lug nuts are off. I'll just slide the tire off and roll it out of the way so I don't forget. Try to find that lug nut that got away. Alright. Now the brake pads are held on by 2 bolts here in the back. The bolt size is 10 millimeter. So I have a socket wrench here with a 10 millimeter socket. And again, it's a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So in this case, I'll be pulling towards me to loosen. That's the top one. And now the bottom. I will now loosen with my fingers these bolts to get them completely off or out of the holes that are holding this in. I got the top and I got the bottom. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this caliper, but I don't want to go ahead and let it hang by the hydraulic hose because it can put stress on the plastic, and then of course next thing you know it cracks, and then you got a bigger job because you're replacing a hydraulic line. Let me figure out how to get this in here. Okay, that's that. Now the rotor, sometimes you have to take a hammer to tap on the rotor to loosen it up, because sometimes you get a little bit of rust. This rotor doesn't look in terrible shape. A couple hits, and okay, and it's off. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set that down and out of the way. While we're here, I'm going to inspect these brake shoes. Now, these brake pads apply to this part of the rotor, and that's your stopping power. Inside this rotor, on this model, these pads are really just for your emergency brake. So, let's say you park on the side of the hill and you hit your emergency brake. These pads are pushing out against the out wall, and that's how it holds and keeps the vehicle from moving. And because most brake pads are made from an asbestos type product, if there's dust here, you don't want to blow this off. There's a product that you can use. It's a liquid brake cleaner, and I'm just going to put this little pan up underneath it, because when you hit these brake pads, you just want to make sure it's good and clean. You want something to catch whatever drips go down. Alright, so we'll let that dry, and this stuff dries pretty quick. Plus it's got a really strong odor too, so you want to have a good ventilated area, because the stuff is flammable. Alright, so that's that. Let me go ahead and move the camera right quick and show you what I got over here on the table. The new rotors that I purchased them online, and they came in the mail. And they come in a plastic bag. And this plastic bag, as I remove it, you'll see, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a sheen of oil that's been put on by the manufacturer to keep it from rusting. So I'm going to use this brake cleaner on the metal that's going to connect with the brake shoes, and we'll just wipe it down with a cloth, because I don't want oil on here between the brake shoes and the metal stopping surface, because that will just defeat the purpose. I'm also going to go ahead and spray the back side as well as the inside of this. Okay, and wipe it down too. Okay. So, before I go ahead and let's reposition the camera and get you a little bit closer to what I'm doing. Let's take a moment and just do a side-by-side comparison. So, here's the old rotor, and of course here's the new one. And you have a much cleaner surface than you do here. You got a lot of rust built up here. There's some scoring in the metal and rust this way. Well, you want your brake shoes to have as much surface as they can for braking stoppage power. And of course this one is reduced. A little bit later on I'll do the other side. The other side is in terrible shape. But this one isn't too bad, but they're all getting switched out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the vehicle. Now I'm going to remove the brake shoes. Now the brake shoes, I'll kind of show you a close-up. There's plenty of padding on here, and there's a notch on the bottom and just one up on top. Now the ones on the bottom they go down here and they rest on this part. So I want to make sure I put these on properly. Now I'm going to go ahead and wedge off the old ones. And as I do, I'll just set it down, make sure I put it back on the right way. Now when these brake shoes get worn out, there's a caliper right here, a piston, that needs to be pushed all the way back in. And the way you do that is with a pair of channel locks or a wrench of some sort, to where you can get on here and squeeze this thing shut. And there you go. That's all the way. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and remove this hook. And I'm going to install the new pads. Remember, the double notches goes towards the bottom on this model. Your model may be different, but that shoe's in. And actually, I think I probably should have put the inner one on first. Okay. Double notch down. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these on. Make sure these double notches rest on this bottom part. Takes a little finagling sometimes to get these lined up just right. Alright. So once that's there, I'm just going to tap these in a little bit. There you go. Now, I have to line these just right to get these bolts started. So just bear with me here. While I'm tightening them with the hand, I'll remove this wire, set that off to the side. Of course, my socket wrench, righty-tighty, left-loosey, so I want to tighten them up. Give it a good torque. So really, right there, the rotor's on, and I got new brake shoes. Now let's go ahead and put the tire back on. Now before I began a career at the paper mill, I did a short stint at Toyota Motor Manufacturing, and they ever said whenever you use power tools, you want to get your nut or your bolt started at least 3 turns to prevent you from cross-threading when you use the pneumatic tool. So I have done that ever since I've worked there. Okay, so I'm going to put my ear protection back in. I'm going to put my gun on forward. I'm going to tighten up my bolts. I'm going to do a star pack. Of course, that one bolt rolled off over there. I'll get that here in a second. I'll put the hubcap back on. lower the vehicle and it's all set to go. So as you can see, doing a brake job doesn't take a long period of time, but if you have the right tools, it can go by pretty quickly. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this entertaining video and maybe learned something. Again, this isn't for everybody, but I've done stuff like this for a while, and I just want to share that with you guys. And of course, I hope everyone has a good day, and y'all take care. Bye.